it might not be gold, but miners in the U.S. have struck helium. A decade-long shortage has made the gas a valuable resource, and a reservoir near Babbitt, Minnesota could go a long way to easing pressure on the supply chain. Joining us with more is Dan Riskin. He's CTV's science and technology specialist. I bet you didn't need any math therapy. You were probably really good at math.
No. I've always struggled with math. But before we get started,
are you going to suck on some helium?
I have to do it. As soon as I knew I was talking to you about helium, I went and bought balloons.
Are you going to do the whole interview with helium, boys?
Maybe not the whole thing, but I do intend to talk in little bits with the helium, because who doesn't love helium? It's got so many great uses, like filling balloons and changing your voice.
What do you think?
Please, let's do the whole interview like this. So, okay, you suck on that, and I'm going to talk about the reservoir in Minnesota. It's not only expected to help fill gaps in the supply chain, but it is an unprecedented find. I guess I'm curious, what does a helium reservoir look like, and what makes this one unique?
This is the thing. Helium, you think of it as this floaty stuff in balloons, and that's part of the problem with helium, is that once it leaves, it floats up to the top of the atmosphere and it sits against the edge of space, and you can't harness it again. But to get new helium, you have to actually go underground. Weird, right?
Yeah.
But there are these pockets of gas underground, and if you know where to look, you can make a big drill, just like you would look for natural gas, which is a gas, and you get helium. And so they found this huge reservoir in Babbitt, Minnesota, that has just a really high percentage of helium in the trapped gases. And it's really great because, as you say, there's a lot of worry about running out, so people can't change their voices, which is, of course, critically important to a lot of different things.
I was looking at all those guys working around the helium gas mine, and I'm wondering, do any of them secretly do it after work? Does everybody suck on helium? Anyway, it is commonly associated with what you're holding, which is a balloon. But what other, maybe more serious purposes does helium serve?
Yeah, let's talk about serious things.
Oh, perfect. Well done, sir.
Helium is very important. You need it for MRI machines because it can keep the magnets cool. You need it for space travel. One of the things about the Starliner spacecraft that everybody's made a big deal about is the fact that it's been leaking helium. The helium pushes the gases that can ignite. It pushes them together so they will ignite. And the thing about helium is it doesn't ignite. So it's a really safe thing to use for those applications. But, I mean, MRI machine says it all. But also a whole bunch of other biotechnologies, a whole bunch of medical applications. It's fun and games at parties, but helium has become a really critically important gas that we need, and you can't make it. Just like you can't make gold because it's an element, you can't make helium because it's an element. And so you got to find it underground, because once it comes out of my lungs, it goes back out into the air. It just floats away and you can't harness it again.
It was interesting to hear it exit your lungs throughout that entire answer. So the United States Geological Survey is estimating Canada has a helium resource of 2 billion cubic meters. It's the 5th largest in the world. What kind of opportunity does that give us?
Well, it's huge. I mean, there's this big shift happening, right? I don't know if you've heard, but fossil fuels are kind of, they're a bit poo-pooed right now because they're destroying our planet and making it hard to live here. So a lot of the exploration that has been happening for natural gas, people are looking for the next resource. And helium was sort of this waste product that was found with natural gas. It's created by some of the same geological processes. And so sometimes they would find it and they'd be like, let's get rid of this stuff. It's kind of in the way. And it's been thought of as kind of a waste of time. But now, as helium shortages start to drive the price up, it becomes a valuable resource. And so we're going to see a shift where a lot of the technologies that had been used to extract natural gas are now going to be applied to, there are going to be whole companies like the one in this press release that are just focused on finding helium, and helium is going to become its own commodity. So it's part of how the world is changing as we move out of fossil fuels.
Dr. Dan Riskin, one more time, can you just end us with a little bit of helium?
It's always such a pleasure to talk to you, and I really want to thank you for making time.
Oh, Dan Riskin, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.